Hey guys, it's Chelsea and Pink. I wanted to come on here today and do a little bit of a different video for you guys. Um, so you guys know that I was a recruiter with Riverside Transport for 3 years. So with that being said, I'm a truck driver for them now, and that's kind of a strange thing. I've never heard that scenario before. I've heard, dispatchers being drivers once in the past, but I'd never heard of it going the opposite, let alone a recruiter. So the first thing I want to point out is that says something about the company that I work for, Riverside Transport, RTI. They're based in Kansas City, Kansas, Owensboro, Kentucky, and Chehalis, Washington. So to give you guys a little bit of background on that, again, I've been working for RTI for about 3 years and decided to do their Train Your Team program. So I was able to train with John, and I got my CDL, and now I'm running team with him. And excuse me, we do lease purchase with RTI, and I've excuse me, let me get a drink here. I've done lease, or I've heard drivers talk about lease purchase quite a bit, and a lot of the times I hear a lot of negative comments, and that is totally acceptable, because lease purchase programs are most often not designed for the driver in mind. They are designed to make a profit. The goal of that company leasing that truck out is not to help that driver own a truck, but it's to make money, to make profit off of that truck. And you can tell that just alone by the interest rates and the time and the price for which they offer these trucks. So I want to come on here, do a little bit of a different video, and give you guys some information on RTI's lease purchase program. So back to my earlier point, the biggest thing with RTI is they make money off of their freight. They don't make money off of their trucks. So they have designed their lease purchase program with driver retention in mind. Their biggest goal in offering this is bringing drivers aboard who are interested in doing a lease purchase program, but retaining those drivers in the process. So they offer 2 different payment options. They have a standard fixed rate lease. So if you do lease purchase with a lot of companies, that's their option. You make the same weekly truck payment every week, regardless of the miles that you're running or the time that you take off. So if you take a week off, you still have that truck payment. But they also offer their variable per mile lease option. Now with the variable lease, you're going to pay your truck payment by the mile. So it's 22 to 25 cents a mile, right around there. So with that, when you run a higher amount of miles in the week, you have a higher truck payment than the fixed rate option. You run a lower amount of miles, it's going to be lower than the fixed. You don't run any miles, that's a $0 truck payment. Now with that being said, that option is taking away the risk when it comes to a truck payment. Because if you're on the fixed rate option and you take a week off, and there are times that you're going to have to take off. I mean, things come up. You have family issues, you have an emergency, you got to take time off sometime. And when that happens and you're doing a lease purchase program, it can put you in the hole real quick. And to dig out of that hole is extremely difficult. So with that being said, the variable option is going to keep you worry-free. So again, you run 0 miles, 0 times 25 cents is $0. And with that variable option, they have to prorate that out. If they didn't, you would have drivers paying a certain amount one year, a certain amount the next, and the math in that just does not work. So they have to prorate it out, and they do. So they prorate it to 115,000 miles a year. So at 115,000 miles in a year, they're going to shut off your truck payment for the remainder of the year on that variable option. So let's say that you're doing their lease purchase program and you reach 115,000 miles in 10 months. That means that you're going to have 2 months where you don't have to make a truck payment. Now at that point, if you want to continue to make your truck payment, you can. And you get your truck paid off faster by doing that. If not, then you just pocket that extra money. It's all up to you. Whatever you want to do, they're with it. So with that variable option, it's going to give you peace of mind. Now, with RTI, they didn't start doing lease purchase to find ways to scam drivers and make money off of them. The only reason that it ever even came into play, the only reason why they just aren't 100% company drivers only, is because if they did that, they would miss out on driver opportunities. You guys know how hard it is for companies to hire and retain drivers. So there are drivers out there who do want to do lease purchase. If RTI didn't offer that option, then the driver calling asking about it would hang up and talk to another company. So it's something that they have to do to stay competitive in their industry. So the other thing that they do is they offer their full service bumper to bumper warranty program. Now, their warranty program is really cool. You pay about 8 to 9 cents a mile for that. And it works like an insurance. So it's not an escrow account. So you pay that per mile charge, and they're going to cover anything and everything that goes wrong on your truck. Tires, batteries, APU, a loaner truck if your truck is in the shop for more than 24 hours. It doesn't matter how much it's the repair costs or how much you've paid into it. If you're there for a month and your motor blows and it's going to cost, I don't know, 15 grand or whatever, they're going to cover it, no questions asked. So that's what that warranty does. So, with lease purchase, that's another worry. I don't have 10 grand sitting in a bank account ready to just spill out for maintenance. So doing lease purchase with RTI, I don't have to worry about whether paint breaks down. You guys know that she was in the shop a while back. John and I didn't have to pay a dime for that. No money out of pocket for everything that was wrong with her and all the repairs that they did. So it's really cool. So let's see. As far as the lease, they do have a lot of different truck options for you guys to pick from. So they have Freightliners, Peterbilts, Volvos. They do have some ProStars. I'm not sure if they're leasing those out still, but I know they have them in the fleet. You can always talk to a recruiter and ask if you're interested in a ProStar. But they have all different years too. So all the way up to 2019 trucks, it's your choice. If you want a newer truck, you can get into one. Likely won't have plastic on the seats, but it just depends on what time you get in. Sometimes, they order new trucks and you get in one with no miles. All the Volvos that we got in when we got pink around that time, drivers got into them with 0 miles. So it depends on the time of the year and things like that. But with that being said, if you get into something that does have some miles on it, they're going to charge you for what that truck is worth at that time. So with pink, I actually saw the sales order from Westfall in Kansas City. That was the place where Bill bought the truck. And I saw the sales invoice, the price that Bill paid for pink, and what Bill paid for pink, John and I are paying for pink. So he doesn't make money off of the trucks, he makes money off of the freight. So their ultimate goal is driver retention. So they do things a little bit differently. They look at it like this. If they do things that are going to help a driver out in the short run, that is going to create a long run driver. We want drivers who are with us for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And we have drivers like that, but we want more. Because there's just something about that. You get in and, you're talking to drivers at RTI and they say that they've been there for, 20 plus years or whatever. It's between both parties, there's a sense of, it's more than, an employer or an employee relationship. You're family at that point. And so that's the way that it works at RTI. And that's what they want, is drivers who are with them for a long time. So again, I have heard you guys make some comments before about lease purchase. And I understand that it's not for everybody. And that for some people, they aren't willing to take that risk. And that is 100% fine. My biggest advice for people who are considering lease purchase is, do you really want to own one of these trucks? Because what happens after lease purchase is that you are a true owner-operator. Everything is 100% on you at that point. But is that your goal? Do you want to own your own truck? If it is, you can try and go to a dealership and see if your credit's good enough to do it that way. Then you're accepting a lot more risk. If you do it at RTI, no risk. It's a walk-away lease. If you come and you stay for 6 months, you don't like it, you can walk away. You stay for a day, you don't like it, you can walk away. You stay for 3 years, you can walk away. It doesn't matter. It's a walk-away lease. So those are the main points that I wanted to bring to your guys' attention. As far as the financial part of it, what am I going to make? Things like that. Well, that ultimately is going to depend on you as a driver. RTI has the freight, they have the miles, they can keep you moving. Are you going to want to move? Are you going to be willing to run here or there? Are you going to turn down loads? How much home time are you going to be taking? We have some areas that you can take, 34 every weekend and still make a lot of money every week. Some areas, the freight doesn't work like that. You have to be willing to stay out a couple weeks. So it really just kind of depends. The other thing I want you guys to consider with this is it is a business. You work 1099, you are self-employed, and you are running your own business. And so every move that you make has to be extremely calculated and thought out. Where am I going to get fuel? Fuel is one of your biggest expenses. John and I worry about fuel more than, our truck payment, our miscellaneous expenses, our warranty. Fuel is the name of the game when it comes to making a profit. So, managing your fuel economy. So to give you guys some numbers, we have some drivers at RTI who are going to make $1,000 a week. Those drivers probably take a little bit more home time. They may turn down a load here or there. They may be willing to run in certain locations. We have drivers who are going to make well over and beyond that. Let's say $1,800, $2,000 a week. Those are guys who they don't turn down loads. When 24/7 calls them for a favor, they do it. They manage their fuel economy extremely well. So it really does depend on you. It depends on how you end up running your business. The profit margins are there as far as what RTI charges versus what they pay. The other thing is they pay empty miles, loaded and empty miles. So, John and I ran a whole lot of empty miles recently, and we got paid for every one of them. Most companies do not pay for empty miles, and if they do, it's a lower amount. So, with that being said, if you're interested in lease purchase and you're scared, be scared, because there are companies out there who are going to run you over, and they're going to take anything and everything that they can get from you. Do your research. There are some good companies out there and some not so good ones, but again, I would not have jumped in a truck and done a lease purchase program, given up my 9-to-5 office job, a salary that I knew I was going to make every week no matter what, to do this if I didn't truly believe in it. And I do. And I bet you 9 out of 10, maybe even more recruiters can't say that they actually believe in what they're selling. Again, I know that there's, not every other company is bad out there. I know that there are some good ones, but I know that RTI is amazing, and I feel like as far as the sequence of events, being a recruiter with them, doing their train your team program, now I'm a team driver with them. It's like, this is where I'm meant to be, and I got lucky. So, if you guys have questions about RTI, and, you want to get to some more nitty-gritty details, this video is already 15 minutes, so you send me a PM, I'll call you. If you want to talk to John, he's always willing to talk to drivers. You can get a hold of RTI's recruiting department. Just let me know. Anyway, I'm at Sack Brothers here in Salt Lake City, and I'm probably going to go in there. So I'm going to let you guys go. Have a good one. Bye.